Welcome back to the Reds Relay Podcast, Episode 4. I am your host, Brendan Hostler. Matt Fry is here with me as always.
Hello.
Jake Sanders, our producer, is behind the scenes.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
Doing all of our heavy lifting for us, as we always say. And we've got a great episode for you today. Pretty jam-packed. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Couple rough series to talk about with the not so hot Cincinnati Reds right now.
Yeah, we got a couple of series in between episodes. We got a couple key players we want to talk about, some stats for them. We got another injury bug hitting us again.
It just keeps on coming back to the Red Legs. Not the best luck so far starting the year, but we're going to go ahead and jump into it. The first place we want to start, when we last left our audience, the Reds were about to play the Texas Rangers, the defending champion Texas Rangers, which they lost the series 2-1. Not a pretty series, but definitely a series that had some positives. The biggest thing for me was India going 8 for 12.
Yeah, that's really big right there from him, our captain.
Coming back, he was had the stomach bug like a couple weeks ago. Hasn't really been himself. Hasn't been hitting the ball, really hasn't been hitting the ball. I guess that's the simplest way I can put it. He's been getting on base, but he was down to 159, I think his average was. But going 8 for 12 with a homer, 4 RBIs, really got himself kind of back. He had a 4-hit game on it was ESPN. They had it on national TV, so kind of balled out in front of a big audience, and so that was good to see from J.I.
Yeah, I love to see India balling out.
Yeah, so that was definitely a positive. One of the big negatives, Matt Fry's favorite player, Jeimer Candelario, 0 for 8.
0 for 8 weekend with 7 strikeouts.
And I think he played in both games that they lost. Not that that's why they lost, but, that kind of plays a factor. That was one of the not so great things. And Matt Fry found a stat for us today. 0 for 27, 16 strikeouts, 3 walks on breaking balls. Now, that is obviously not going to cut it from a guy that we're expecting to do big things.
Yeah, teams see that, and you won't get a fastball.
Yeah,
they just won't throw you any.
And I think if you put up that stat and you didn't say, before the season, if you said, okay, this is a stat from April, and you said, whose numbers are these? And you said 0 for 27 with 16 Ks. Matt Fry, who do you think that everybody would think that
from
is?
When?
Like, if they saw this stat at the beginning, before the season started.
Before the season, they'd probably say Ellie.
Yeah, Ellie. Like, everybody thinks, okay, Ellie's getting a ton of breaking balls. He's not hitting them. Well, that's not really the case. Ellie's been a little bit of a slide recently. He hit the home run a couple nights ago in San Diego. We'll get to that series here very shortly. But he's not hitting. He wasn't hitting. Now, we're going to talk about the Padres series, how he has kind of come back to his form a little bit. But, that was some things we kind of took away from the series. I think maybe the most positive thing was probably Hunter Green. Hunter Green was great. He 7 innings, 0 runs, 6 strikeouts. 6 strikeouts is kind of a low number for him. And if you saw just the strikeout numbers, you would probably say, okay, he went 3 innings, and he had one of those classic Hunter Green starts where he walks 5 guys. And
yeah, a lot of people starting to lose faith in the man.
Yeah, and he
comes out 7 innings. Give us a little hope. But
he
on that outing, he also you put it right here. He had 98 of his 99 pitches were fastball or sliders, which have not been working for him all year.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah,
when you really think about that, how he's basically a reliever for 7 innings. Because most of the guys coming out of the pen, except for a select few, Fernando Cruz has 3 pitches, but he's basically Lucas Sims.
Yeah, it
for
seems
7
like every
innings.
time he goes out to pitch, Sadak and whoever, Larkin, they're always talking about he's working on this
split,
his
the
third
curveball,
pitch or his 4th pitch. Started in spring training, but he hasn't thrown it at all this year.
Yeah, so basically a 2-pitch relieving, style of pitching, just having 2 weapons. Now, those 2 weapons are very good. He throws the ball obviously very hard, really good slider. The slider velo's actually been down this year a little bit. I think he's 85 to 86 with the slider. But, he was effective. He was hitting spots, getting a lot more ground balls than normal. We don't have a stat on that, but he's, was pitching more to contact, really gave them a great start. And so that was a huge positive. That's a guy we're going to need you're going to need that guy down the stretch.
Absolutely.
And I would say in the postseason as well, if the Reds are going to get to that step, they need a guy like Hunter Green to step up.
Yeah, even if it's out of the bullpen.
That could be.
Get to the postseason,
and that's a big debate in Reds country right now is, if Hunter Green doesn't turn things around, do you look at a guy like that and say, okay, he is the weak link in the rotation? I don't think we get to that point. He's too talented, but I think that is definitely an option if the Reds are to go to the postseason, and guys like Lodolo, who we're going to talk about later, are pitching the way they are, and if Graham can really, find that second gear, and Montas.
Yeah, and a lot of people also forget Brandon Williamson is out right now.
Brandon Williamson
we have another
as well.
Starter out.
That's a good point.
IL.
That's a great point you make, and I think he's a guy that really has a ton of upside because he's got 5 different pitches.
Yeah, I love watching Brandon Williamson pitch. Him and Abbott, when they both came up, they were really exciting to watch on their debuts.
That's kind of a guy that's kind of gotten forgotten about. Hopefully, I don't know actually what his injury deal is. I don't know if you want to look at that, or I know that he's out. Obviously, he's not with the team right now. I think Jake's that's Justin Wilson, isn't it? Give me Williamson. Yeah, sorry, it's kind of confusing.
He's got a left shoulder strain.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. He had the shoulder issue in spring training. He should
be back pretty soon.
Oh, he's only on the 15th.
Maybe we'll get him and Friedel back fairly quickly, as we obviously need them to come back.
Oh, I remember. Okay, now it's coming back to me. Yeah, you kind of forget about him because he was a bigger prospect, but he came up, and then Abbott came up, and everybody was on the Abbott.
You got so many guys on the IL, you forget we have Williamson on there.
Yeah, and, it'd be nice to get him back, kind of getting off the beaten path there. But, to me, I don't think Hunter Green goes to the pen. I think that is a kind of a last resort, like if we were in like a game 6, game 7, NLCS situation where it's like we need somebody to come out of the bullpen and just, throw bullets.
Yeah, we know what he's capable of, and I think they have the trust in him to continue starting for us and win some games.
Yeah, I would agree. So that was kind of the Texas Rangers series. You play a tough team at their home ballpark, a ballpark that the Reds are not super familiar with, defending champs. They're not having the greatest year. They're around 500. They've gotten a little hot now. But I wasn't too upset about the series. I thought they played well. The biggest thing was they just didn't hit. They didn't have the firepower to deal with Nathan Eovaldi, and that pitching. Dane Dunning absolutely shoved. I thought they pulled Dane Dunning way too soon. He went 6 innings. I believe he only threw like 75 pitches. So they just didn't really hit, a ton. Ellie kind of didn't really do much. And right now, if Ellie's not doing anything, this team is not hitting. And we're going to, as I keep saying, we're going to kind of get to that in the rest of this podcast. So I think I want to move on, from that Rangers series and kind of talk more about the Padres series, because I think the Padres series has more things that are a little bit more intriguing. And I think concerning. I was more concerned watching this Padres series than I was the Rangers series. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. We start off the series with a great outing from Nick Lodolo.
Yeah.
Obviously, he goes 7 innings, 1 hit, 1 run, and 11 strikeouts, which is a career high. And we did not think he was going to go that far.
They sent him back out.
The only hit was the home run, and he just shut it down after that and kept us in the game, and we ultimately come out on top.
Yeah, he comes out, and we were watching the game together, and I even said to Matt Fry, I said, he typically last year and the year before, he would have 3, and a lot of the young guys are doing that right now. He'd have 3 good starts, and then the 4th start would be, and you're not going to throw a gem every time, but it would be drastically bad. Like he'd hit 4 guys in a game with the back foot slider. He would be, giving up home runs left and right. So the leadoff home run from Profar after Ellie hits the home run to go up 1-0 was kind of alarming. I thought to myself, man, even though it was a good pitch, I thought, man, it might be one of those nights where he just kind of gets unlucky.
Yeah, but Lodolo he's done outstanding in the whole month of April. So in April, in his 4 games he's pitched, he's got 24 innings, only 15 hits and only 5 runs with 31 strikeouts, and he's got an ERA of 1.88, and he's basically solidified himself as the ace of this team.
I would agree with that. I think that that's a very I wouldn't say that that's a hot take around
not
Reds
anymore.
country right now. Yeah, he's definitely solidified that number one spot. Obviously it's very early, but if you were to start a playoff game today, it's going to be Nick Lodolo on the hill. So that's been really encouraging. I think for him and really for all of these young players, it's about staying healthy. And the sky's the limit for him. I think his frame and his pitch ability, which is something we don't talk a lot about. We just talk about stuff a lot. Like the fact that he can pitch up in the zone, he can pitch down the zone, he can use all 4 quadrants of the strike zone is really important for him. So he was spectacular. And they faced, switching gears, they faced the knuckleballer, the lone knuckleballer in Major League Baseball, Matt Waldron, on I believe that was Monday. Yeah, that was Monday. And they kind of took it to him offensively.
Yeah, they hit it all around the park against him.
Yeah, Steer had the RBI double. Ellie obviously had the home run.
Ellie, yeah, putting us up in the first inning right there with the home run.
Yeah, so they kind of took care of that, and that's a pitcher. He's got the knuckleball, but I think that's a pitcher you kind of have to handle. And they did. They did a fantastic job. I thought that was one of the more. I don't know what you think, but other than maybe opening day, that was probably one of the most complete baseball games I've seen them play. Just from top to bottom, from inning 1 through 9. The bullpen was great. Cruz was great. Lodolo, we obviously said, was great. Timely hitting, solid defense. I just thought they played a very complete
game. Yeah, like
I
said before, if you have a game where you can get Nick Lodolo go for 7 innings and then go Cruz, Diaz, then you shouldn't lose the game at that point.
I would agree. And the bullpen's been great. And that's really what's keeping the Reds in games right now is the pitching staff. The pitching staff has been so much better than I think what we thought it was going to start out with this season. The lineup has really struggled, and I know we keep kind of bringing that back up, reiterating that is the offense just is not there. And I know they're not healthy. I get that, but there's guys that have to step up. We keep talking about CES, like he's hurt now. He got hit on the wrist the other night. He's kind of a day-to-day situation, but he has to hit better. Candelario hopefully broke out of his slump the last couple of days. He's had back-to-back 2-hit days. He hit the home run the other night.
Hit the home run alongside Stuart Fairchild.
Yeah, so they're getting some offense. They're hitting some home runs, but they're not hitting with runners in scoring position very well. They're really struggling offensively, and it's just the inconsistency for me is the most alarming. You don't really know what you're going to get night in and night out. And I know that's baseball, but to me, there are certain guys, that we can't afford to keep putting out there in the lineup, and we need guys to either get healthy, we need guys to step up that are supposed to be contributing. Right now we're having to bat Nick Martini in the 4-hole.
Yeah, today's game we had Nick Martini in the 5-hole alongside Espinal, Candelario, Mailey, Fairchild.
Yeah,
and that's a really poor bottom of the order right there. And the bad thing about that is we had only one guy on our bench that was available because of the injury bugs that's going on.
So you need guys like Candelario, you need guys like Strand to really start hitting because. Now that Ellie's kind of cooled off, it's going to be they're going to struggle. And I don't want to be the pessimistic Reds fan, but it's a little bit alarming. We have a few weeks until TJ Friedl comes back. This team has got to figure out how to muster up some wins. And they have a little bit. The pitching has been great, like we keep saying. But, I don't really want to keep harping on it, but the offense has got to be better. And Candelario hopefully is back on track. I think, the other night I said that I'm kind of with you now. I think he's not going to be, it's not going to be a good contract. And I know I'm changing from day to day, but I think if we get into the warmer months, I got
to see a little bit more of him.
I know, but I think he's a professional hitter and I think he's going to figure it out. So the Padres series was definitely alarming. You see some things that you don't really, you hope these trends kind of stop. And I think it will with some with some guys coming back, Friedel's going to be huge. I keep saying this to everybody that I talk to about Reds baseball. Friedel coming back is going to change the dynamic of this team.
Yeah, I honestly think Candelario, he will play a lot better when he gets to play alongside Matt McLain, Noelvi Marte, and TJ Friedel, because it's like you can pitch around Candelario and he's going to get out all the time because you got Maile, Fairchild, and Espinal coming up to the plate, but it's like you can't really pitch around Candelario when you got Matt McLain towards the bottom of the order or like Benson towards the 9 hole. It's like you got to pitch to this guy, and he's going to get some pitches to hit once they all come back, and hopefully improve from there.
Right, and I think Benson leading off is not working. He's pressing more than normal. He's pressing to get on base. I think he plays best with kind of that no pressure 9 hole, kind of see what you can give me kind of mojo around him. I think he plays better, and I think most of Reds country would agree with that. I mean, he was probably the best 9 hole hitter in baseball last year. So the Padres series was not pretty. They didn't hit. Today, Fernando Cruz kind of had his first hiccup. I think it was single, walk, single, and then grand slam. Now, he's been great. I'm not going to say he's bad because he's been great. He's allowed to have a hiccup every now and then. He's been awesome.
Yeah, it's really hard to be a perfect pitcher. So.
Yeah, so I'm not worried about that. I'm not really worried about the bullpen at all. Justin Wilson got hit the other night, another injury that the Reds are going to have to deal with. The x-ray came back negative. I did see that on Twitter, so hopefully he will be back shortly in the next couple of days. He's actually hasn't thrown the ball that bad. The bullpen as a whole has been pretty good. So, I look at these 2 series, and obviously they lose both, but I think, although I've said it's alarming, I will keep saying, till I'm blue in the face, that this team has just got to stay healthy. I just kind of want to summarize the whole deal. It's going to make Ellie better. It's going to make Steer better. It's going to make India a lot better, Benson as well. So, they just kind of get going and they'll be fine. We get some of these guys out of the lineup, like Nick Martini can't be playing every day. And actually, I just thought of something. I saw on Twitter today, Mike Ford has opted out of his contract, which is very interesting. If you don't know or you're not aware of Mike Ford, the Reds picked him up on a minor league deal over the offseason, and he came into spring training and hit very well in spring training, and almost won himself a opening day job.
Yeah, I think we both thought he was going to be up there.
And I was kind of with the Nick Martini decision. I liked that decision. He was on the team last year. I thought that he can give you a little bit more than Mike Ford, but as of right now, Nick Martini does not have a spot on this team because he is not hitting at all, and he's not playing the field. He's DHing, but he's basically a pitcher. He's not hitting. I mean, if you take opening day away, he's done nothing this year. That's no disrespect to him, but you can't keep having a DH that's not hitting.
David Bell had a couple opportunities over the past weeks to drop down the struggling Strand. He's not doing well right now. Yeah. You could drop him down. He just got hurt. He's out for a little while anyway. Go ahead and send him back down, get Mike Ford up, or do the same with Martini. He's not doing well. Get Mike Ford up. It's worth to just try something different. It doesn't hurt because Nick Martini's not doing anything.
Yeah. And so what that means basically is the Reds will have, I think, their time's kind of running up now because this happened today. They only have a certain amount of time before they can decide whether or not they want to bring up Mike Ford and add him to the roster, or they have to release him. Well, they have to let him go, I guess, is the way to put it. So I'm hoping that Nick Krall picks up the phone here very shortly and we hear some news about that, but I have not seen anything. I mean, it's kind of surprising. I don't know why. Like, Martini has an option to AAA, so it doesn't really make sense to me why Mike Ford's not up on the team. I know he plays first base, but CES is out right now, and Nick Martini's not hitting. So they need whatever they can get. All right, so yeah, I kind of want to move on from that. It just, some frustrating week overall for the Redlegs. We are going to talk a little bit more about Elly De La Cruz because he is Elly De La Cruz and he's fantastic. And we kind of want to dive deep into how his season really is going. I know you see the numbers, all over MLB, and they talk about how hard he's hitting the ball and how many home runs and stolen bases he has. But I kind of want to talk about why he's having the success, how how he's having the success basically. So obviously the StatCast numbers and the Savant numbers are just nuts. Like obviously the K percentage isn't very good. We've talked about that in recent episodes, but the biggest thing is he's hitting the ball all over the field. I mean, wouldn't you agree? Like that's been the biggest change.
Yeah, you take a look at his spray charts there. You have home runs spread all over the ballpark and just hits everywhere. It's not like his right-handed, he's pulling it. His left-handed, he's pulling it to the left side or whatever, or the right side.
And I think honestly the biggest key is just going to be like him just adjusting to major league pitching and like understanding when to take pitches, when to, and the other thing too is he's hitting more mistakes now. You saw it with the Matt Waldron pitch the other night. It was 0-2 and he threw a middle sinker and Ellie hit it about 420 feet to center field. Last year
he used to be really selective on what pitches he'd hit.
Right. And so it kind of felt like last year when they would pitch him backwards like that and he would swing at a couple, pitches in the dirt and, you have a 1-1 count or an 0-2 count or a 1-2 count, he's watching a fastball that he could kind of uncork on and hit, 500 feet if he wanted to. So he's hitting mistakes more. He's not popping them up. He's not chopping them into the ground. That's a big thing for me. If he continues to hit with this kind of average, he's going to steal 100 bases. We can go ahead and look at his projected stats. 162 game pace, 281 average, 41 home runs, as you can see on the screen, 104 stolen bases, 145 runs, almost an 1,000 OPS. Now, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but those are MVP numbers.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that, and if you just say,
that's Ronald Acuna from last year.
This is the MVP stat, you'll be like, yeah, I'd have to agree with that.
Yeah.
And that 281 projected batting average, that's up 50 points from his last year 2023 season, and that 41 home run on pace would tie for 6 all time for the Reds, and would absolutely destroy the Reds stolen base record by 37
I think we talked about it a little bit before the show started. It was 1983 was the last time somebody stole 100 bases.
1987.
Oh, okay. So the National League was Vince Coleman in 1987. Yeah. And then you don't have to pull that up. We can. It was 1987. Vince Coleman stole 108, I believe it was, and then in 1983, Rickey Henderson stole 103. Those numbers may not be super accurate, but the years are correct. So that would be the first 100 stolen base season in, what is that, 30, 40 plus years. So that would, to me, that's an MVP season.
Yeah, anytime he gets to first base, he's got a chance to get 2 stolen bases in that inning.
Yeah, and he's really kind of done the delay steal a lot too, which I really like this year. I didn't see a ton of it last year. The delay steal is awesome. It catches a lot of guys off guard. It gets them to make a lot more errors too. So he's doing some different things that are helping him have success this year. It's not just that he's yes, is he laying off more breaking balls? Absolutely. That's a big key. He's walking way more. He had a 4-walk game. But there's other keys to his game that's helping him play well. Now he's kind of come back down to earth a little bit, and that's going to happen. But he has really made some adjustments. He's only 22 years old, people. He's so young. He is a baby in this game. I don't even know if he's played 162 full games yet. I believe he's still under that mark. So he doesn't even have a full year of service time in Major League Baseball. So he's only going to keep getting better. Now, one thing I want to talk about, and since we're on the subject of Ellie, me personally, I don't think this is real. You're going to see it on your screen right now. And if you have been on Twitter or Instagram, you've seen this. Now it's an error. Yes, I understand. It's not a good throw. A lot of people were chirping at the fact that basically this throw is 106 miles an hour, apparently.
Yep. I don't know if it's been confirmed yet or not, but reports are that that's a 106 mile per hour
And
throw across the field.
That's what the TrackMan radar gun picked up at the stadium. MLB has not said a ton about this. They haven't posted about it. I don't know if that's because it's an error, but to me, it's like, okay, if that's, and I think it was 106.9. If that's the number, I don't care where the throw goes. That has to be, that's the hardest thrown baseball on a diamond in a game.
Yeah.
Yes, it's an error. I understand. Like, totally get it.
It really wasn't that bad of a throw, but he threw it so hard.
Yeah, and let's keep in mind too, if that throw is 99 in the same spot, Candelario probably catches it. So
that's what's got me questioning if it's real or not. Like, was it really that fat, 106, so he couldn't see it?
Or? Well, yeah, because you can see like how he reacts, and this isn't the best angle. You know, we're gonna kind of show you this one, but there's an angle of the ball coming at him at Candelario, and he kind of like jolts his glove upwards, like he just didn't see the ball. So I don't know if it's real. I just thought it was pretty interesting. We wanted to talk about it on the show because if it is real, that's one of the most staggering, unbelievable stats I've ever seen. Next time he'll just have to hit him in the chest, and I guess MLB will recognize it.
Or not, he might hurt a dude.
Yeah, he might go through his glove. I don't know. So that's something fun we want to kind of talk about. It's been everywhere. So, you know, that's kind of how the things have been going for the Redlegs. Rough week. Ellie's still kind of doing his thing. So I think we're going to kind of go ahead and switch gears a little bit here. Going to do a little bit of around the league. Matt Fry is going to talk about some underperformers for the 2024 season to start us off with a little bit of news.
Yeah, the first guy, these are all guys that have contributed a lot for their team last year and had helped them win a lot of games. It is Randy Arozarena for the Tampa Bay Rays. He's batting a cool 152 for them, and he was a big part of that when they got really hot to start the year last year, and he's not near as much as he
big postseason guy, and just hasn't really got off to a good start. And the next guy you mentioned, Corbin Carroll.
Corbin Carroll. He's when I wrote these down, he was batting 189. I don't know how much that's changed, but
I don't believe it's changed a ton. But
he's considered in the MVP race before the season, and a lot of people picked him to win it, and he's not doing well for the NL champions.
And he's another guy too. Like a lot of guys harp on Ellie, but he's super young too, and he's getting paid a lot of money. So there's definitely a little bit of added pressure on him, especially because they went to the World Series last year. So there's going to be that added pressure for him to succeed and kind of lead that team at such a young age. And they're a young team overall. So I look for him to bounce back. And then the next guy that you talked about, honestly, it's kind of been a stretch for him over the last couple of years.
Yeah, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., he's batting around the 200 mark right now. He's just, over the past few years, he's not performed as to what everybody thinks he's capable of.
Yeah, and, well, you want to know why he's not hitting very well?
Why?
He's on the cover of MLB The Show. Now, you can say what you want. I know the Madden curse is a big deal, but I think the MLB The Show curse is kind of a big deal, too. So Tatis is now...
I mean, last year he had a bad season, too, though. I mean, he wasn't terrible, but... Not to what?
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. I mean, there's just some guys like Javi Baez hasn't done anything since he's been on the cover.
Yeah.
Who was on the cover? Oh, Jazz Chisholm. I mean, he's fallen off big time. They thought he was going to be he's still a decent player, but they kind of thought he was going to be the next big thing. Vlad's just kind of been underwhelming, and a guy that was so highly regarded as going to be the future of first base. And I still think he can be. He's very young. But, he was regarded to be the next, well, his dad. I mean, he was basically supposed to be the next, obviously the next Vladimir Guerrero, like hit 500 home runs and, bat 300 and be just a phenomenal hitter. And he had the almost MVP year a couple years ago, but he just hasn't really gotten back to that MVP form. And, so I think there's a lot of guys right now in the league that just aren't kind of... It's still very early. We're just now into May. It's May 2nd, the day we're recording this. So we're about, we're basically a month in. and some guys that still haven't really gotten going. And another guy like Jackson Holiday, he just was sent down, going 2 for 34 to start his career. Something's interesting, and Jake doesn't have we don't have a slide on this, but I saw it today. There's a group of like 8 different guys, and it's like Ken Griffey Jr., Brooks Robinson, George Brett. It showed like all of their first 40 at bats in the pros.
Yeah, all those I've seen that. I think I've seen that too.
Yeah,
where it's not as good.
And they're all like 1 for 25, 1 for 35. Griffey went 1 for 18 to start his career.
Yeah,
this happens when you have a big time star and they rush him up to the big leagues. And I don't think it was like the GM's fault or anything like that rushing him up. He was batting.
The guy just turned 20 years old.
Yeah,
he's super young.
But he was raking in.
Yeah, he was absolutely. He's going off in AA and AAA.
So you kind of have to call him.
Almost everybody on that AAA team.
Yeah. So I don't think that was a mistake calling him up. I just think that's kind of what happens. It all happens so fast. Now I'm not a Major League Baseball player. I've never experienced it, but when you watch enough of it and you see enough guys come up and you hear former guys talk about it, they talk about how quickly everything happens from. You kind of get your name out, in this instance for Jackson Holiday, his name has always been big. His dad, Matt Holiday, played, so it's a little bit different for him. It's always been a fast, process for him. He's only 20. He came out of high school and, he's basically in the big leagues now. But, most guys, it's like, as soon as their name starts to get big and they get on that prospect list, they just kind of everything goes so quickly as soon as they start to play well.
Yeah, hopefully dropping him down AAA is going to get his name out of the news for a while.
And just slow the game down
take the pressure off of him. And when he comes back up, he'll be fine.
Yeah. So a couple other news notes here. Former Red Nick Senzel. Now, this was of a couple days ago. He had 4 home runs in his last 4 games. These are a little bit older notes we have here. I don't know if that's still going on, but he did have a 4-game stretch where he had 4 home runs. That'd be a guy that I'd like to have in that lineup right now.
Yeah, I'd love to use a guy who can.
And I think if you would have
right-handed hitter in the outfield for
if you would have told me that I was going to say that 2 months ago, I would have told you that I was nuts, or that you're nuts, and I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, same with another national, Jesse Winker, having a pretty good year for
big bounce
the Nats
back
this year.
Big bounce back. I'm happy for Jesse. I get mad when we play him and he owns us every time. He did it with Milwaukee.
Opening day, first hit of the year against us was a hit down the line.
But when he was in Cincinnati, he was a great guy and always worked hard with the Reds and wanted to be a Red for a long time. And it didn't work out that way. And it worked out well for us because we got rid of him and got some good guys back.
I thought Jesse Winker's career would almost be over by the time when he got to Milwaukee and just struggled really bad. Yeah. And I'm glad he can step it around for the Nationals.
Yeah, it's good to see him bounce back for sure. The biggest thing in the news right now, second biggest thing, we're going to talk about a big injury later, but is the jersey situation. So MLB is I guess I should say Nike is coming out and basically saying that there's going to be a fix in the works with these god-awful uniforms. It's not going to happen this year. It's kind of late for that. But next year, hopefully that's going to be something that gets changed. So, we'll see kind of where that goes. That's just a little news snippet that we kind of were talking about the other day. And okay. So we're going to go ahead and get into the big story right now. And that is, Michael Nelson Trout, unfortunately, is most likely going to have season-ending meniscus surgery, which is just horrorble. I mean, for the game,
it's sad to hear.
Like
I said before, you love the Major League when Trout is healthy. He's he's probably the greatest player in our time.
Yeah, of course.
Growing up watching baseball, he's the best player, and he's battling all these injuries lately.
Yeah, and I compared him a lot to Griffey, because Griffey, he came over to the Reds and, that second half of his career, he really just was banged up. And I think Trout's getting it worse because it seems like every time he gets hurt, he's getting surgery. Griffey had it a couple times, but, it's just been a rough couple years for Mike Trout, and he's been hitting so well this year. He's leading the league in home runs with 10, or he's tied with Gunnar Henderson now, who actually we were going to talk about, and we probably still will. But it just sucks, and we've actually got a clip. Jake's going to throw up for you guys his interview.
Yeah, you can just see how visibly frustrated he is right there. He taking the chance on Mike Trout right there. He's been loyal to the Angels forever, and just to see that happen to the guy like that,
just frustrating.
And we can't really show the whole clip, but he basically goes on to talk about how, kind of how it went down. It was kind of strange because he said that he didn't really even feel a moment where he did it. And it just kind of lingered, and it kind of kept getting worse. And he woke up the next morning and went and saw the trainer, and just really couldn't. There was no mobility in the knee at all. And they, sure enough, went and got him checked out, and it was a torn meniscus. So he's such a phenomenal human being. He does so much for, baseball and, just the baseball community and kids in general. And just, you hate to see a guy like him have to go through this.
Yeah, he's going to be one of the biggest what if stories ever. Like, what if he's healthy? He could have hit 500 home runs. Who knows?
Yeah, but and he still may.
He's got a great career.
Yeah, he's in the Hall of Fame. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer right now. So, and he's actually tied the major league lead in home runs with Gunnar Henderson, who is also MVP having a really great year.
Yeah, he's in the MVP conversation.
Yeah, he's hitting really well. I think he's the best player on that team. Really,
there's a lot of good, young, talented players on that team, and the Reds got to see them coming up soon. So
they play them this weekend actually. Yeah, we didn't even mention that. But I would love to go see him in Great American Ballpark. Obviously, I don't really want him to go crazy because then that means we're losing. But
we definitely got to catch a game or two in this series.
He's spectacular. I love watching him play. I think he's the best player on that team. I know they have Adley Rutschman, but to me, he's the best player. So that's a little bit of some news. Obviously, the Trout stories is the biggest thing.
Also, one of the most exciting things that happened this week was the brawl in the Brewers game.
I'm glad Matt Fry stopped me because I actually almost completely went over that as I'm now re-looking at my notes here. So you guys are going to see this. Jose Siri, the former Red, actually is part of this brawl. And then Uribe, the pitcher. I don't really know what's said there. And it just kind of explodes out of nowhere. I'm not going to John Boy lip read this, and really there's not a lot of lip reading. It's more of just WWE haymakers holding guys back.
Yeah, if you can, I don't know if they're able to hear it or not, but they can. He goes, "Oh, this is not what we want to see," but no, that's exactly what I want to see.
Yeah.
But I mean, you don't want guys fighting everywhere, but it's. I think it's cool to see that every once in a while.
Yeah, and my thing is, I just don't understand. I'm sure there's something that was said. Obviously, it's not going to come out of nowhere, but. It was just a little bit strange, and
MLB's they've given their suspensions out. And
do we know what the suspensions are?
They got Siri got suspended. I think I saw somewhere where they all got fined, like every player.
Oh, really?
One of the managers got suspended. Siri got suspended, and as well as the pitcher.
Okay. I don't. Are they seeing your screen right now?
No.
They're looking at us. Okay. So I don't know what the suspensions. Jake's going to go ahead and take a look at that for us on ESPN, I think. Let's see. But yeah, that's kind of some, while he pulls that up, I'll just kind of keep going here. That's kind of the news basically for baseball this week. There hasn't been a ton, but that fight was definitely one of the bigger things. The Mike Trout injury is huge. As I'm looking at this right now. So looks like Pat Murphy. Oh, okay. So Pat Murphy and Jose Siri both received suspensions. This is via ESPN. Brewers starting pitcher Freddie Peralta received a 5-game suspension. Are they looking at this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So okay. You guys are able to see this now, so I don't have to read it word for word. Okay, 3 games. Okay. That's not really that bad, actually. For as bad of a fight that was. Uribe kind of looked like he made the first move. Granted, I don't know really what was said, but Yeah, so that was, and to me, what I think about that is like, I don't know. I look at that and I just like it just makes me think like, okay, like they're frustrated for some reason, maybe, and I don't really know why.
Yeah,
It's just a weird situation. I don't know.
That pitcher's also been Uribe. He's kind of been like that for a little while, like kind of strutting his stuff on the mound and whatnot.
So that's our news for the week. For around the league. Now, to finish up the episode, we're going to do everybody's favorite baseball reference. We're not going to have any sort of game today, any trivia or anything like that. We're just going to go ahead and do the baseball reference as this video is getting a little bit lengthy. So, yeah, we're going to jump into, and I think, Jake, clarify if I'm wrong. From now on, I think we're going to try to keep it mostly all Reds guys.
Correct.
Yeah, and this is just for our viewers because obviously this is a Reds podcast and you're going to know more Reds names than you are some of the other names that I'm able to throw out there.
Some tough names today, but we got all three red legs.
So all right, and are you playing along?
I'm playing along.
Okay. All right, so Matt Fry is not in on this. I'm going to be looking at my computer, just full disclaimer. I don't have the names on here. I just have exactly what you're seeing on your screen. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to jump into it. So we've got a Cincinnati Red. I still can't figure out how to. Nope, I got it. I can zoom in on here. Okay, we have a Cincinnati Red of 2017 debut at 23 years old. We got a pitcher.
Wait, can I guess? It's not. I was gonna say Wade Miley, but
it is not Wade Miley.
I was gonna say if you know, like go for it. This doesn't have to be about me.
Your guess is out there. Let's
the Yankees.
So we've got a red leg for
also he got moved to the
little while, and then he went to the Brewers.
And he got traded to the Brewers mid-season?
It looks like it. Or we released him. I bet we released him. Because he wasn't that great and he didn't throw a ton of innings. This guy... This one's interesting. He has a lot of wins and losses. He started games.
Yeah, he was a starter and then... Looks like he was a starter for a year.
So it's one of those, like, young relievers that started out as a starter, obviously. And so it's not like Michael Lorenzen, it's not Raisel Iglesias, it's not Amir Garrett. This one's tough because after the Reds, he doesn't have a lot of time. Can I get if he is right-handed or left-handed?
I do believe this is a right-handed pitcher.
And then is he white?
Yeah.
Okay. It's not Anthony DeSclafani. It's not Tyler Mahle. I'm trying to think of a young starter that would be. Do you have any idea who this is? Man, I don't know.
Could you think of anybody who's played for?
It's not Robert Stevenson.
The Reds, Brewers, and Yankees all in the same season.
It's not Robert Stevenson, right?
No, it is not.
Man, I don't. You might have me on the first one. I don't know if I. Man, okay, so I'm gonna need a first initial.
The first initial is S.
Oh, I do know who this is, and I'm a little bit disappointed I didn't get it. It is one of those young guys that we brought up, and he started a little bit. I think this is Sal Romano.
You would be correct.
Sal Romano. So I needed a little bit of help there. So you can, in the comments, you guys can decide whether or not I got stumped. I would probably say I got stumped there. I should probably get Sal Romano a lot quicker. Oh my gosh, if you remember Sal Romano, those were some really dark years. 2017, 2018, those were just bad years when he was like the second best pitcher on the team.
Yeah, you got another reliever for the
Reds. Reliever. See, Jake's. Oh, you're okay. We have a Chicago White Sox from 2012. This guy's got more time, so I feel like I'm going to be able to get this guy. Oh. No, because he played for Boston. I was going to say this is Heath Hembree, but this is not. That's not Heath Hembree. 2020, the COVID year, was in the pen a little bit, 18 innings. So that would have been, what was it, a 60-game season that year? 60 game.
Yeah.
So he would have thrown a little bit. He was like coming out of the bullpen a decent amount. Pretty much a reliever his whole career, not really a closer of any kind. I feel like I know who this is, but I can't come up with a name. I feel like I know who this guy is. Chicago White Sox. Oh man, 1 year with the Redlegs. Oh, you guys are tough on me today. You guys are making my brain go nuts here.
There's no you guys. It's just me.
Well, that's true. I guess it is just Jake. I'm sitting here blaming Matt Fry.
Giving these names off camera, he's probably getting these really quick.
I don't know. This one's tough. He has an infinite ERA in 2014. I just realized. I don't think I've ever seen that on the Baseball Reference. He has 0 innings pitched, but he gave up. That's his only outing of the year. Okay, I'm gonna ask, right-handed, left-handed.
Right-handed.
Okay, I kind of
right-handed white guy.
I kind of figured. What's first initial?
N.
N. Oh my gosh! Give me both initials.
NJ.
I don't think I know.
He's got him.
Yeah, you might.
Today?
He only has 21 games as a Red.
He's still been around for a while.
Is it Nick?
No, it is not.
Oh my God! I know who it is now. I just got it. He was really good in MLB The Show. Nate Jones.
Attaboy.
Oh my gosh, Nate Jones. Yep, he was on the COVID team for a little while. Wow, that's a name. All right, give me the third one. Hopefully this one's a little bit easier. Oh my gosh, we have missing years. This ought to be interesting. And he's not really a great player. I know who this is. I do know who this is. Another White Sox guy. Really big guy. And he actually, in 2020, was the opening day DH, I believe. Yeah, this is Matt Davidson.
Attaboy.
Matt Davidson. What a name there. Some really obscure Redlegs today. Hopefully, you guys were able to come up with those on your own at home. But I definitely struggled today. So let me know in the comments if you did better than me. And I also want to know, let us know in the comments if you're liking the longer videos or if you like, us to keep them a little bit shorter. I think me and Matt Fry enjoy the longer videos, but it's really up to the viewers is what they, of what you guys want to see.
Yeah, we're also gonna do some shorter, fun videos, just some of the trivia games as their own video.
We've got some stuff in the works, some more tier rankings, some different things. So be tuned in for those. I think that is gonna do it for today. What do you say, Matt Fry, as we close this episode?
Yep. Make sure to follow us on all our socials.
Yes, check us out on Twitter.
Reels getting posted, some TikToks.
Yes, look for the reels on Instagram.
They're on the screen right now.
As well as YouTube, TikTok. You can check us out on Spotify and YouTube for our videos. Thank you so much for watching wherever you may be or wherever you may be listening. Go Reds.